Ahead on Up with KREM, Hoop Fest weekend continues. We've got all the info you need if you're heading out to the courts.
Plus, I've got you covered when it comes to your weather forecast, as in general, we're seeing cooler temperatures and the chance for showers.
Plus, we're tracking the impacts of the upriver fire, how one small business owner is getting back on her feet after fleeing the flames. Good morning, and thank you for starting your day here with us on Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones. We've got Jenny Power over in the Weather Center. And Jenny, what an interesting weekend in terms of Hoop Fest weather. I haven't seen personal rain in my entire time living out here in Spokane for Hoop Fest weekend, but some may say that's better than it being blazing hot, right?
This is true. I mean, when we talk about Hoop Fest, normally it's about, avoiding heat-related illnesses and making sure you are extra hydrated. So when we take a look at this weekend's Hoop Fest, it's definitely on the cooler end, and we see that again for the day today. Our daytime highs will be in the mid-60s. Breezy winds continue for us, and we'll even see the chances for some light showers. It's all because of this low pressure that's dropped down from the Gulf of Alaska, and it's continuing to just sit over much of the entire Pacific Northwest, bringing us these cooler temperatures and some of this wet weather. So moving forward, as we take a look at your daytime highs, we're just looking at some low to mid 60s for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. These temperatures are below average for this time of year. 57 is the high for St. Mary's. We're even seeing highs in the upper 50s down on the Palouse and north to Sandpoint, Idaho. The other thing, when it comes to our seasonal norms, we're actually below average when it comes to rainfall. So honestly, all the precipitation that we can get is going to be very helpful, especially ahead of the 4th of July. So we'll watch for those showers popping up for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene through the rest of this afternoon. The full timing in my extended forecast.
Well, happening tomorrow, Kootenai County Fire and Rescue and the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department will honor 2 fallen firefighters on the 1-year mark of the Canfield Mountain ambush. A remembrance ceremony for John Morrison and Frank Harwood will be held tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Avista Pavilion in McEwen Park. The public is invited to attend and pay their respects while firefighters thank the community for its support over the past year. Well, today we're continuing to track the impacts of the upriver fire, both big and small. KREM 2's Connor McAvoy spoke with one woman whose small business was uprooted by the fire, and here's how she's making up for lost time.
At Wednesday night's Kendall Yards Night Market.
This is our original loaf, our garlic rosemary, jalapeno cheddar, and sun-dried tomato basil.
You may find Tina McLaughlin talking all things sourdough with customers. She'd be the first to say baking wasn't initially her bread and butter.
I spent about 6 months making bad bread, and then it just, I was stubborn and I had to figure it out, and so then I just kept going and it turned into this.
She's run Mama's Sweet and Sourdough Bakery in Spokane since 2023, but her passion for baking got put on pause as her life and business were threatened. McLaughlin had to evacuate from her bakery as Level 3 evacuations came in for the upriver fire. Thankfully, everyone was able to get to safety as crews fought the fire and the building was still intact. When she was able to get back to her bakery, she discovered the power went out, leaving 100 sourdough loaves melted. But if it weren't for her family lending an extra hand, she says she'd be out of business.
I didn't even take starter with me as far as my business goes. That's the only thing I really need, and one of my kids was still there and they grabbed it on the way out.
Wednesday's market was the first time she got back out selling to the community after taking the past couple of weeks to assess time and product loss, though she knows other people who had to evacuate weren't as lucky.
My heart goes out to those that lost a lot, and I feel so bad for them, but I know that they'll be okay. Howdy, how are you guys?
For now, McLaughlin's grateful for everyone showing support for her business, taking every positive interaction and sale one loaf at a time.
And just such a great community that cares. Humanity matters, and it really showed itself after the fire and during the fire, actually.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Alrighty, it's the final day of Hoop Fest, my friends. And if you're headed out downtown to catch a game or maybe playing one, here's what you need to know. The tournament takes over pretty much all of downtown Spokane. You can see that right there on the court map here. And there are more than 400 courts. Right now, roads are shut down. And here's a couple of streets that are closed. Sprague Avenue, Summit Parkway, Broadway Avenue, and the Washington Street Bridge. We've got the full list of closings on our website right now, and you can find that at KREM.com. As for what's open, Maple, Walnut, Lincoln, Monroe, Brown, and Division Streets will still be open through the weekend. Of course, parking can be a little bit tricky. The Parkade is open for parking. If you're not familiar, it's on West Main, downtown between Howard and Stevens. It'll cost you $30 to park for just the day. WSU Spokane also says parking on campus will be free all weekend. To help get around all those street closures, STA is running some extra routes this weekend. They call it the Hoop Loop. It's a few shuttles that run every 15 minutes a day. One picks up from SCC and the other at the Jefferson lot. You can park for free at SCC, WSU Spokane, select Gonzaga parking lots, and the Jefferson lot, which is under I-90 at 4th and Walnut. The roads outside of downtown might also be pretty busy as well. WSP says I-90, highways 2, 195, and 395, as well as the downtown Spokane corridor, will all be heavily impacted. So be sure to plan for some extra time and some delays. You'll also see more troopers on the roads. WSP and local police departments are doing some extra safety patrols. And the Hoop Fest store is now open. You can get exclusive Hoop Fest gear, and you can even get it customized. Lots of cool swag out there at the Hoop Fest store. There will also be some fun merch from the great PNW, and today is the last day to check it out. It's right next to Center Court in the Giza Pavilion. So there's a lot to know about Hoop Fest. We've got a guide right now that gives you everything you need to know. All you've got to do, just text us the word Hoop Fest to 509-448-2000, and we'll send it directly to your phone. But if Hoop Fest isn't your thing, we still got you covered with your weekend What's Up. Here's Nicole Legou with some of today's events.
Happy Sunday. If you're looking for something to do today outside of Hoop Fest, of course, there is plenty going on. One of those things is the Spokane Indians playing their final game of the series against the Tri-City Dust Devils. It's at 1:05 p.m. this afternoon, and it's Native Culture Day. If you're artsy and want to create a painting like this, there's a paint and sip at Pino's Palette coming up at 3:30 this afternoon. Tickets are about $45. And if you haven't made it out to the Panhandle Pickleball Tournament yet, today's the last day. It is in Cherry Hill Park in Coeur d'Alene, and they're doing men's doubles and women's doubles today. It's also the last day for Beyond Wonderland at the Gorge. At the very bottom there, you can see the Sunday lineup. And then last, 6 local gardens are opening up across Coeur d'Alene for tours today. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets are $20, and then once you buy the ticket, you'll get the address of where to go.
All right, still ahead. Summer is in full swing, and it's not just lake days and barbecues. While you should also add the library to your summer bucket list, that's next. And later, people start most wildfires, but climate change could shift the math. Our Environment Northwest team breaks down how lightning could start more fires.
Well, I am here today with Spokane Public Library. We've got Alina and Vanessa, and they're going to talk with us all about the Spokane Summer Reading Program. And it's not just for kids, but first, Vanessa, can you tell us why is a reading program important, especially over the summer?
Yeah, so libraries have done summer reading programs for years, and the reason it's important is because when kids get out of school, and if they're not reading, if they're not engaging with learning content, they might slide, they might not. Their reading level might go down before the next school year. So we want kids to be able to feel ready and excited for school when they're going to their next level, their next grade. And then also for adults, whether you are a reader and you do read all the time, or it's something that you've kind of gotten out of practice of, summer's a great time to maybe take some peaceful moments and try to, and you can spend time just reading. It's kind of like spending time focusing just on your own mind, which we don't get to do very often. We have like notifications going off, making us panic. We have all of these things that are just kind of quick bursts from our phone. And so it's a really unusual experience to just sit down with a book and engage and get into that again. And if you feel like, oh, I don't have the patience for that, like just give it a try and like start with a few minutes, and then you might be surprised how it makes you feel.
Yeah. So not just kids, parents too.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
Yes.
nice. Take a book to the lake or something.
Yeah.
And How is this tracked? Is this by minutes, pages, number of books? What are your goals for people?
So if you read 15 days in a month, it can be non-consecutive days. It can be, I picked up a book and read a single page, or it can be I picked up a book and read the entire thing. But that can be tracked on our Beanstack app. So there's a Beanstack app, or you can even use this kids and teen summer reading, and you can go to the back and you can track it here, and we will totally accept that for adults or kids. And it's just 15 days per month, June, July, and August.
And how do people sign up for this?
Yeah, so you go to the Beanstack app. So you go to beanstack.spokanelibrary.org, and it is a place where you can register for the Summer Reading Challenge, and then you can log from there. And then every 15 days that you do read each month, you can win prizes. So for kids and teens, the first month in June, you can win tickets to the Spokane Indians, courtesy of Sweetster Law Office. And then just for registering, you get a free book from the Friends of the Spokane Public Library. And then for July, you would get a free hour of jump time at Altitude Trampoline Park. And then in August, you get free admission to the Spokane County Interstate Fair.
Awesome.
Yeah,
and I know
but
that
then
was a
it
big
doesn't-
part too
yeah,
for me as a kid.
yeah.
The prizes were big, but
Yes.
adults too, right?
Yes, adults too. And people can, especially us millennials, we can relive the nostalgia of those personal pan pizzas from Pizza Hut through their Book It program. We've partnered with them, and they have given us enough to be able to give every adult who participates in this reading challenge a free personal pan pizza every single month that they read 15 days. And then you can also get a registration prize, a free book coupon from page 42 just for registering. And then you can also, enter to win every single month into our giveaway that has someone could win a free private wine tasting for 8 at Terra Blanca.
Big
you can
prize.
win, you could win 2 tickets to the Spokane Symphony, and you can win a tattoo gift cards, and there are so many more. I mean, we have 15 different partners that have donated to this, and they're all local businesses in Spokane.
So awesome. Well, thank you so much. I know I'll be joining in, reading.
Yeah.
Hopefully everyone else out there is turning pages too. And we'll look forward to hearing back from you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Coming up in your forecast, I'm continuing to track some cool temperatures and the chances for showers. Thanks so much for joining us here on this Sunday. Let's get a look at the forecast and what we are seeing across the region, because we are hanging on to some cooler temperatures, and we do see the chances of showers returning for us on this Sunday and the second day of Hoop Fest here in Spokane. Breezy winds continue to trend for us all weekend long. Today is no exception, and tomorrow our winds will even still be a little bit more elevated. But temperatures continue to be on the cooler side. These temperatures are actually below average for this time of year. We're looking at a high of 65 degrees for Spokane, 61 for Coeur d'Alene, some upper 50s for St. Mary's, and even a high of 51 for Elk River. We are warmer toward the central part of the state, with highs there in the mid to upper 70s and even some low 80s for Omak and Richland. Now, moving forward, we've got some showers that really start to fill in here through much of central Idaho. We'll watch for some light showers possible across Spokane, so just be aware of that, especially if you plan to be outside. More widespread rain, though, arrives for us overnight tonight and into early Monday morning across parts of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, as well as central Idaho, kind of filling in there, which at this point in the month of June, we'll take all the precipitation we can get because we have been below normal when it comes to precipitation totals. The other thing to be aware of is our winds are still going to be elevated. We're seeing gusts near 20 miles per hour for Spokane through this afternoon, picking up to near 25 mile per hour gusts, while parts of central Washington are seeing more elevated winds. Ellensburg overnight tonight, seeing those winds near 40 miles per hour. Overall, as we get an outlook here of what's to come next week, we trend cooler here as well as a little bit wetter. So again, we need some of the precipitation that we have been seeing. Of course, it just had to impact over Hoop Fest weekend. But of course, those cooler temperatures are what we are going to be watching out for, as highs will continue to be in the 60s for the start of the work week. And we won't see the 70s until the middle to end of this upcoming work week. Again, the precipitation, we are trending a little bit bit on the wetter side, which is good news, especially because we have already seen our fire season start for the region, and we are preparing to see 4th of July here for this upcoming weekend. So that's the overall outlook that we have as we look ahead toward next week. These cooler temperatures and wetter weather sticking around a little bit longer. But with the showers moving through the region today, a helpful tool, especially if you plan to be out for Hoop Fest, is access to our live local radar, which you can have completely free on your TV or your phone.
Well, most wildfires are started by people, but lightning-caused fires could become more common with climate change. Meteorologist Leah Pizzetti with our Environment Northwest team takes a look at the conditions that make fires much worse.
The root of most wildfires is people, but data from the Northwest Coordination Center shows Washington and Oregon's lightning strikes skyrocketed in 2025. The nearly 140,000 lightning strikes between June and September was the second highest this century, 200% more than normal. Lightning strikes when there is energy in the atmosphere and burns 50,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Lightning is more common with warmer temperatures. A University of California report shows the number of lightning strikes is expected to increase by 12% for every 2 degrees Fahrenheit the planet warms. When it comes to lightning's impact on fire risk, the nice thing is that we can forecast when that instability is expected, so fire crews can be ready to respond. But if they start, lightning-caused fires can be extremely difficult to fight. That's because they're often in harder-to-reach areas, which slows response time. That steep terrain can lead to faster growth. Plus, the lightning is often affiliated with a passing front that brings strong wind that causes rapid spreading. And while human-caused fires usually have just one origination point, lightning can strike multiple, even dozens of times, says Washington Department of Natural Resources Angie Lane.
While we can detect them, then you've got to have all the resources to respond to those. If you're getting 20, 80 starts in a storm, then that's where the problem lies, trying to get enough resources to suppress those incidents.
Regardless of the way it starts, Angie cites what's called the fire triangle: fuel, oxygen, and heat. The presence of all three means fire can spread quickly. Even with the increase in lightning starts, human-caused is still the dominant problem in Washington. 80 to 90% of fires in the state are caused by people.
We need our citizens to also be fire aware and to help us reduce the number of human-caused starts that we deal with each year.
She says every fire brings its own unique challenges, so there's no hard and fast rule for anything. But as firefighters try to fight the weather, they ask the public to not add to the problem.
We've got Mother Nature we know to contend with every year, and we're looking to our humans to help us by not contributing to the issue.
For Environment Northwest, I'm meteorologist Leah Pizzetti.
Well, still ahead, tourists came for the World Cup, but they're getting way more than they bargained for. A look at how Europeans are going all in on Americana. Some surprising stars of the World Cup aren't soccer players. They're the international tourists who are discovering America. Mark Strassman reports from Texas, where some foreign fans are getting a crash course in American culture.
Four-wheeling through the muck of South Central Texas. Drew Haas invited two couples from Poland and France to his 30-acre spread for a two-day taste of Texas.
I want to show them my Texas and get them to experience that because I wanted to open the world up to my home. My soul's been lit on fire.
Your soul's been lit on fire?
Been lit on fire just seeing all these people enjoy themselves here.
Let's do some cowboy stuff.
David Mazur and Martina Bijinska live in Silesia, southwestern Poland.
And you're going to go out, and then you're going to grab my hand right here. Just
Haas
like
taught them to dance the two-step.
I would say it's all new to us. My dad grew up watching like John Wayne westerns. You just want to see it for yourself.
I was a bit skeptical about it, but then I just feel like, yes, I can do this all day.
Haas also took them to Buc-ee's. This one has 98 pumps and aisles of Americana. Think about it. They were smitten by a mega gas station.
This is the America that I want to live in. This is the America that I know it can be.
Turns out America is her own best ambassador.
We really love this lifestyle. We enjoy every second of it. We just want to like soak it in.
Both couples will spend the next couple of weeks here enjoying the World Cup and American hospitality before heading home. What is Polish for? Y'all come back, you hear? Mark Strassman, CBS News, Bastrop, Texas.
Just ahead, if you're driving through Idaho for a 4th of July road trip, know about this speed limit change for semi-trucks. That's ahead in just a few minutes. All right, looking ahead this morning, starting on July 1st, that's this upcoming Wednesday, work zone speed cameras are going to start sending you a fine for your first infraction. So now, first-time infractions will be $125. You may remember these cameras were just introduced here in Eastern Washington along I-90 in Spokane County. And then also starting July 1st, semi-trucks on 3 major Idaho interstates won't have to drive slower than the rest of traffic. The Idaho Transportation Department says crews will swap out speed limit signs on I-84, I-86, and I-15 that day, raising the truck limit from 70 to a uniform 80 miles per hour. The change follows a new state law ending Idaho's required 10-mile-per-hour gap between cars and truck speeds.
So when there's a large differential, there's more interactions, so more opportunities for drivers to come up behind another vehicle or weave around vehicles or past vehicles. So, and each of those interactions is an opportunity for, someone to make a mistake or crash to happen. So I think idea is that when you remove or when you decrease the differential, there'll be fewer interactions and traffic will flow smoother and there'll be less opportunity for crashes.
ITD will keep tracking speeds, crashes, and driver behavior in the months ahead. If the numbers hold steady or improve, the 80-mile-per-hour limit will likely stay for good. Well, Washington Attorney General Nick Brown is pushing back against Avista's proposal to increase customer electric rates by 25% and gas rates by 10% by 2030. The AG's office claims most of this money would be going to Avista higher-ups, not services to customers. If the proposal goes through, the average electrical bill would increase by more than $33 a month. That's more than $400 a year. The AG's office argues that Avista could forego most of the increases and save customers up to $626 million.
We need to use every tool that we have to make sure that these increases are only what is truly necessary and is not going to fund things like dividend payments to shareholders or CEO pay or projects that have nothing to do with Washington State.
KREM 2 reached out to Avista for comment. They say the money would go to recovering costs for power generation and supply, wildfire safety and prevention, and clean energy compliance, among other things. There will be a public comment hearing on this case if you're interested. That's on August 27th. Well, July 1st is a big day in Idaho. It's when a long list of new laws officially kick in. That includes House Bill 623, which will make it law for all K through 12 public schools to hold a mandatory 60-second moment of silence. The bill's sponsor says the time could be used for reflection, meditation, or prayer.
Idaho has failed when it comes to suicide of our children for different reasons. This moment of silence for me, I think, will help that.
Once the school day starts, there are changes to what students will be learning. A Senate bill is expanding the civics and history education requirements to including topics like ancient Greece and the Renaissance. Also starting July 1st, the Idaho Department of Education has to develop framework for public schools using AI. State legislators also want to get kids away from their screens to improve mental health. Social media companies will have new requirements when children use them. They will have to verify users' ages and obtain parental consent before allowing anyone under 16 years old to have an account in Idaho. All right, still ahead, you might see more of these around town. They're microchip stations that can help people reunite pets with their owners. We show you how they work. And some famous faces were spotted in Coeur d'Alene this week. Do you know who it was? Well, we'll let you know in 15 minutes. Well, from wildfires to broken fences, there are a lot of ways pets can get out and be lost. That can, of course, cause panic and heartbreak for families. However, a local nonprofit is working on ways to reunite families and their pets by going high-tech in a low-cost way. You may see these at some of the area parks. It's a microchip scanning station. People can scan a dog and help track down the family who is probably searching for their dog. In a few clicks, you might help save the day. Our Laura Papetti shares more about these stations and how they work.
Oh, it's the worst panic in the world.
That's how Mary Hedman describes the feeling she gets when any of her dogs get loose and go on the run. Because her dogs aren't just like family, they are her family.
Teddy is a delightful dog.
Same story for Dana Headpole. Teddy doesn't like to leave her side for even a minute.
He's my boy, yep.
And this little guy, Breezy, has no idea that he's not a human. Making sure that dogs can reunite with their families after getting lost is what inspired these boxes at 4 area parks within Spokane County. They are community microchip stands put up by the nonprofit Short-Term After Hours Rescue, known as STAR.
It actually takes the burden off of the pet emergency and the animal emergency clinic at night.
Executive Director Tandy Brayson Foster says the project was the brainchild of a STAR team member. They read about a pilot program going on back east and came up with a plan to put the stations here locally.
Super simple. You just turn that on like this.
We asked Brayson Foster to show us how it works on my dog Ginger.
Wave the scanner across the pet. Take a picture with your phone because it doesn't stay on there forever.
Once you have the number, you can call STAR Dispatch and they can help track down the families. They have no way to measure yet how many people are using the machines, but they know lost pets after hours is definitely a problem.
We're getting a few calls a night, probably 2 or 3 calls a night to our dispatch about found pets.
The stands are low cost with a big reward when they work, about $250 to install. The group hopes to grow the number. But they said the most valuable piece of the puzzle is letting people know they are here and easy to use if they do find a dog.
He's coming.
Because when you find a dog, there's a good chance that there's someone, somewhere, desperately looking.
And you can donate to STAR. They want to fund more of these stations. Also, if you have a pet that needs to be microchipped, STAR has that covered as well. You can go to a microchipping clinic at Northwest Seed and Pet today from 10:30 until noon. That's hosted by the nonprofit. Coming up, Idaho Fish and Game reporting more black bear sightings than normal. What to do if you see a bear where it shouldn't be. Well, this Pride Month, we are hearing the stories from LGBTQ+ people right here in the Inland Northwest. Some members of the KREM 2 team had a conversation about how resources and attitudes have changed over the years.
I'll give you a little bit of background. I moved to Spokane in 1984 for a job. Didn't know anybody, but slowly over the next couple of months started to meet people. Some of the first people I met was a gay community, and that's where I was still discovering myself, still discovering who I was and stuff like that. So in 1984, at that time, there wasn't a lot of resources available to queer people. So fast forward to 1992. 1992 was the first time Spokane had a Pride Parade. and it was a very small parade, maybe 100 people participated and stuff. Much different than what we see today, where there's thousands of people. So that's good progress. It's good progress. What pride means to me is being part of a community, and being part of a community means showing up in person. You know, not just texting a friend, not just liking their Facebook. Actually interacting with people in the community, people you may not interact with on a daily basis. That's so important to bring people together. Pride is really all year long. It's not just 1 month, not 1 day and stuff like that. Especially for gay people, we don't just come out one time in our lives. We're constantly coming out as we meet new people, as we expand our circle of friends. So I always try to help people get involved in your community. Become part of your community to whatever comfort level you feel comfortable with, obviously. So I enjoy meeting up with friends. Part of my job being out in the community is I'm always meeting new people all the time, almost on a daily basis, people that I would probably never interact with otherwise and stuff like that. So I enjoy that. I enjoy hearing their stories. Sometimes they're not always the funnest stories, but I'm there to tell their story, at least allow them to tell their story. So I would say the biggest thing, takeaway, is pride is community. That's what it means to me.
Right, right. Exactly. And I guess, Emily, same question too. I guess, what is your perspective of Pride Month, and how does that influence your perspective of journalism?
Yeah, I think it's a little different, especially for like Shayla and I, who maybe aren't out and about like you guys are, or front facing like you, Christian, and on camera. But I think for me, it's important to do things like this, like be part of something like a special that we put together, or finding the stories or advocating for those stories when they maybe don't seem as important or newsworthy, but they're still highlighting important things in our community. I do think community is so important, and it can be really hard to find that, especially as a young person, and just figuring out what that means for you, what it looks like, what it can look like. And I don't know. It's so special, and it's so fun to I don't know. It's fun and scary, I think, to find the people that you're comfortable with, but I don't know. It's important, so
just to piggyback off of what you said, it's about kind of, especially because we're more in the building, I guess, and not out talking to people, it's really about advocating and finding those stories and making sure we're going the extra mile to talk about why they're important and why other people who maybe aren't a part of our community should care about them as well. Because like Al said, you're not just representing or celebrating Pride 1 month. It's, at least for gay people, it's every day, right? So making sure that we're a part of that community and expressing to others why we matter and why we deserve a voice.
Right.
And don't forget, you can watch our hour-long Pride Month special right now on the KREM 2 app, or by texting the word PRIDE to 509-448-2000.
Thanks so much for joining us here on this Sunday. Let's get a look at the forecast and what we are seeing across the region, because we are hanging on to some cooler temperatures, and we do see the chances of showers returning for us on this Sunday and the second day of Hoop Fest here in Spokane. Breezy winds continue to trend for us all weekend long. Today is no exception, and tomorrow our winds will even still be a little bit more elevated. But temperatures continue to be on the cooler side. These temperatures are actually below average for this time of year. We're looking at a high of 65 degrees for Spokane, 61 for Coeur d'Alene, some upper 50s for St. Mary's, and even a high of 51 for Elk River. We are warmer toward the central part of the state, with highs there in the mid to upper 70s and even some low 80s for Omak and Richland. Now, moving forward, we've got some showers that really start to fill in here through much of central Idaho. We'll watch for some light showers possible across Spokane, so just be aware of that, especially if you plan to be outside. More widespread rain, though, arrives for us overnight tonight and into early Monday morning across parts of Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, as well as central Idaho, kind of filling in there, which at this point in the month of June, we'll take all the precipitation we can get, because we have been below normal when it comes to precipitation totals. The other thing to be aware of is our winds are still going to be elevated. We're seeing gusts near 20 miles per hour for Spokane through this afternoon, picking up to near 25 mile per hour gusts, while parts of central Washington are seeing more elevated winds. Ellensburg overnight tonight, seeing those winds near 40 miles per hour. Overall, as we get an outlook here of what's to come next week, we trend cooler here as well as a little bit wetter. So again, we need some of the precipitation that we have been seeing. Of course, it just had to impact over Hoop Fest weekend. But of course, those cooler temperatures are what we are going to be watching out for, as highs will continue to be in the 60s for the start of the work week. And we won't see the 70s until the middle to end of this upcoming work week. Again, the precipitation, we are trending a little bit on the wetter side, which is good news, especially because we have already seen our fire season start for the region, and we are preparing to see 4th of July here for this upcoming weekend. So that's the overall outlook that we have as we look ahead toward next week. These cooler temperatures and wetter weather sticking around a little bit longer. But with the showers moving through the region today, a helpful tool, especially if you plan to be out for Hoop Fest, is access to our live local radar, which you can have completely free on your TV or your phone.
Well, new this week, Idaho Fish and Game is pushing bear safety and education. Fish and Game says in a bad year, there might be 1 or 2 black bear sightings that require intervention. Right now, they say they're keeping eyes on 6 bears in places they shouldn't be.
Our biggest first effort that we're going to make when we get a call and we know that a bear is in a neighborhood is education, outreach and education. We are going to do our best to get people in that area to remove attractants and button things up.
Pearson says you should report bears in residential areas to Fish and Game if you see one. And the earlier the bear is reported, the more options there are to move that bear out of the area and avoid euthanasia. Alrighty, folks, it's summertime and people are hitting the lakes of the inland Northwest, including one celebrity couple, the famous faces that went to a small business in Coeur d'Alene. That's next. All right, in case you missed this trending story this week, we had some famous faces right here in Coeur d'Alene on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's right. Take a look at this. Justin and Hailey Bieber were spotted at Breaking Bread Artisan Bistro. The small business posted these pictures on their social media accounts.
And it's not the first time the Biebers have spent time in the area. He and his wife, of course, that's Justin and Hailey, they reportedly own property near Coeur d'Alene. So I think this is pretty cool. Actually, I love this business right here. Anytime I'm over reporting in Coeur d'Alene, Breaking Bread, they hook things up. I go there, I get the either, breakfast sandwich, or they got really good donuts as well. And the owners are extremely kind.
See, that's awesome. We love our local businesses. I mean, it really is just more confirmation. It's ideal to go out maybe on a Sunday morning. You grab something from your favorite local shop and you just enjoy the inland Northwest because it's beautiful.
I got a question for you, Jenny. Do you have a favorite? Are you a Justin Bieber fan?
I mean, a little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Seriously, you weren't listening to the Biebs like that growing up?
Not really,
All right.
but I mean, major respect for the game.
All right, do you have a favorite song from the Biebs?
I think I like his new Swag album.
Okay, that one is pretty good. He's got a couple of good songs on that. I like the Biebs, man,
Yeah.
So Justin, man, if you ever feel like you want to stop by the office, the KREM 2 office, we're just a small drive from Coeur d'Alene.
Yep.
We report over there all the time. Of course, this is a part of our demographic. So this is my call out to the Biebs. And we just want you to come in here. And then also, if Hailey can bring in one of her Erewhon smoothies. Have you heard about those?
Yes. Big fan of her and Road Beauty. So that's what I know about that.
All right. I like What Do You Mean?
Okay.
Is it?
That's
What
a good
Do
one.
You Mean?
Very nice.
All right, let me stop. All right, thank you so much for joining us here on Up with KREM. We certainly appreciate you. We hope you had a great Hoop Fest weekend, and we hope you have an even better week ahead.
Yes. Have a good one, guys.